All right, I got to bring up Twitter to get rid of my. If somebody can just confirm that I'm alive here. Okay, wonderful. Just let me go. I'm just going to go into Twitter to remove what's probably spam. While we're at it, by the way, I'll get rid of the spam message. But so winning can mean I find my father's bones. Your father was lost to sea. You never knew him, but you've often dreamed of him. Find and return his remains to London for a decent burial. Fulfillment, gather 100 tales, learn all you can at the Z, write a masterpiece and retire. Or wealth, you know what it is to be poor, now you want a mansion, servants, fine clothes, and a family perhaps. So father's bone, fulfillment, or wealth. Chat, I leave it to you to decide what my character's ambition is, and while we're doing that, I'm going to try and get rid of the tweet that would have gone out from me resetting the stream. I will just caution everybody, it's... we probably don't have that much long left in the stream here because I remember the last time something like this happened, the problems were pretty persistent. But we'll at least get a little bit done on this new captain. Whoops. Okay, looks like we got one for fulfillment. Oh, come on. As you can see, we got a real professional show here. All right, so we are evenly split for... I'm going to count both of Kite's votes here. So we've got fulfillment or father's bones. So this is just another coin flip again. Unless I see something different. So heads for fulfillment, tails for father's bones. Actually, see if I can make this a little more transparent. No. All right, so much for that. I was just going to try and bring up my stats program, but it probably would cause more disruption than anything. So I'll just do the same thing I did last time. So heads fulfillment and tails father's bones. All right, father's bone. Your father was lost at sea. You never knew him, but you've often dreamed of him. Find and return his remains to London for a decent burial. Oh, and I'm talking with Weebro right now. It sounds like he was having some troubles with OBS as well. So my suspicion is that everybody's buffering issues, my frame drop issues. Sorry, guys, I'm a little sidetracked. So I've just been talking with Weebro. It sounds like he has been having some OBS issues as well. So my suspicion is that there's probably something happening with Twitch right now. And hey, Black Dahlia, we successfully died in Sunless Sea tonight. Black Dahlia is another member of Team Panda, as was Weebro, who followed the stream just a little while ago. So if you're not following these good people, definitely consider giving them a follow. They are all excellent streamers. Weebro in particular has a wonderfully professional setup, really good audience interaction. Dahlia does as well, and Dahlia has the great distinction of being the person who kind of pushed me to 100 followers and does so much to to encourage people to keep coming into this channel. So it would be a great shame if I could not accomplish, at least in some small way, the same amount of support that he's given me. So please definitely consider following that guy if you haven't already. OBS issues. Well, basically, I've just been dropping a very large number of frames. My stream just stopped working and didn't. So we're going to be wrapping up relatively quickly here, but we're going to be going through the character creation, at least doing kind of one tour of duty to make sure that this save locks in. All right. So my father was lost at sea. Never knew of him. Often dreamed of him. Find and return his remains to London for a decent burial. Full fathom 5. Find where he fell and bring him home. When you found your father's bones, you can retire to victory. Explore fallen London to find your first clue. Oh, thank you for the retreat, Weebro. All right, last scrap of paperwork. Captain, an irregularity with the Harbour Master's office. They wish to know, what term of address do you prefer ashore? This will determine what people call your captain, but your captor's gender is up to you. So, I am going to pick my captain's gender right now. What you guys get to do is you get to pick what address. So our options are Madam, Sir, Citizen, My Lord, My Lady, and Captain. We'll do that one more time. We've got Madam, Sir, Citizen, My Lord, My Lady, and Captain. And remember, I've picked the gender for this character already. Yeah, Ewok Fuzzy Nuts was just letting us know that apparently the Frank and the Beans are out during the Witcher 3 cast because the cam is off. All right, so we've got a Sir, we've got a Milady, we've got Captain. Oh, Red Pain, hey, how's it going? Well, we're probably going to be wrapping up relatively quickly. So, all right, we've got 2 for Milady, 1 for Captain. And what I'm going to do this one slightly democratically. So basically what's going to happen is there's going to be 2 votes for Milady, 1 for Sir, and equip a fedora. All right, so we've got Captain, 2 My Lady, and 1 for Sir. So just bear with me a second here. I'm just going through my program. Okay. And so we've got Captain. Captain will do perfectly well ashore as well as sea, thank you. Captain it is. Last piece of advice. Explore, take chances. This captain will probably die. The Z is hungry, but each captain passes on lessons to the next. And I did actually pick a lady for this one, so... Of course, captain works no matter what, so... This is tempting. Apparently everybody on this in this game is a member of Gorillas. Well, we could choose this. Actually, this would be a fun one. And finally, chat, let's hear some names. Bartholomew was a recommendation. Actually, I should have asked for a name too before I picked a lady. So... Well, it's a natural philosopher, so let's go for this. I'm going to pick a name, actually. Hypatia. Your father, lost to sea so very long ago. The trail was cold, but now you have a lead. The gracious widow. It is said that she controls half the crime in London. It is said that she is 500 years old. It is said that she can distill spirits that delight the tongue and melt the flesh. It is said that she paid for a memorial headstone to be set up for your father. What does she know? The night under the earth. The widow receives you in utter darkness, blank as a bandage laid across your eyes. This is usual for the widow. Yes, she says, and her voice is oddly youthful. I have an interest in your father. I had hoped news of the headstone would bring someone looking, and here you are. I have an idea where his bones might be. Perhaps you will help me recover them, but I would like you to cover my expenses first. I need something for my tonics. Scintillac. You can find it in Port Cecil, I understand. You may go. Bring a unit of Scintillac from Port Cecil to the widow. Port Cecil can be found in the center of the Undersea, near the Khanate. Fiona, yeah, sorry, Kate. As soon as it was a natural philosopher and a woman, I picked. So, for those of you who are interested, I didn't get a chance to really talk a lot about the highfalutin academic things that I normally do. But for those of you who are interested, Hypatia is a very interesting figure. So she was a Neoplatonic philosopher in Alexandria. So first of all, I should explain what Neoplatonism is. I will say that I'm just going to sell this book outright because I already know everything that's inside of it. I'm just going to go through the usual things. I will read the news from home before I say it. The Echo Bazaar, the enigmatic marketplace, has increased its tax on love stories. The traitor empress has forbidden singing in the street outside her palace. The anarchists of the Calendar Council have inexplicably dynamited the drinking fountain. The Ministry of Public Decency has located and destroyed a nest of gallbladder wasps. So, most people know who Plato is. So in terms of the genealogy of philosophy, you have got the pre-Socratics. You have got the figure, although the pre-Socratics incidentally include contemporaries of Socrates. Socrates was an incredibly influential Athenian who never actually wrote anything down, but is best known through his most famous pupil, Plato, who is kind of considered to be sort of the first major figure of philosophy, and incidentally is a figure who we basically have everything that he wrote down that we believe he would have wanted us to read. Now, there are some letters that are attributed to him, and some which we believe are, or have a very good indication that would be authentic. Hey, I smell like poo. How's it going? Sorry, I should say I Smell Like Poo has another Twitch name, Eastbright Bay. He is also a streamer. If you'd like, you can definitely feel free to link your stream there. We've got a couple of great hosts by Superior Blaze, Ewok Fuzzy Nuts, and Kite260, all of whom are streamers, and I would definitely recommend that you follow if you haven't already. But if you'd like, I Smell Like Poo, feel free to drop your link in chat. And you've definitely been a long-standing friend of this channel, so very happy to put that. And of course, that applies to everybody. If you've not already linked, or if you'd like to link again, Kite260, Ewok, Black Dahlia, all of you people, if you would like, because I don't have a bot yet, definitely feel free to list any of the links. Of course, the rest of you, if you'd like to follow them, it's very easy. Just click the button inside of chat. You don't even need to visit their page to be able to follow them. But Plato founded the Academy, which you can, in some ways, kind of consider to be the first university in a sense. And basically, the Academy went through a few different stages based on who was running it and what their priorities were. And you have this figure of Plotinus, who's kind of considered to be the first Neoplatonist. He sort of synthesizes Platonism with a number of other developments that, you know, effectively you've got several hundred years of the development of philosophy, and he comes with this great synthesis between Aristotle and Plato and a number of other influences. And it's really kind of the last form of philosophy in the ancient world that you get before sort of the fall of the classical era, and kind of what happens once you move out from Plotinus, you start getting into something that's a little bit more like mysticism rather than philosophy. Or you get into the Dark Ages where, you know, you have a very different kind of perspective. It's not to say the philosophy died, but you have a very different form. And in the end, Neoplatonism didn't have as much of an influence on the world as it might have had history turned a little bit differently. Yeah, no worries, guys. I should be thanking you for the hosts. I really appreciate it, and not to worry at all. I smell like Bruce. I like to do the host because in the end, it gives me a chance to sort of pass things off. We've been talking about some of the weaknesses on the stream. Like already, I'm looking at about a 35% drop frame rate, so we look like we're having the same problems that we had earlier. But oh, it looks like we're still looking for the Iron and Misery Company funging station. Oh well. But in this case, it's just, especially when I have failings like this today, or we're coming out off of a big high, I don't like just dropping people. It's nice to be able to pass them off onto something I enjoy watching myself. So that's great. I smell like Kite is a really great entertainer. I was going to say I was a little surprised originally when I found out that he was streaming, just because I didn't know him as a streamer. But when I finally got a chance to watch, I was extremely entertained. It was a great time. Oh, thank you for the host there. I smell like poo / East Bay. So Hypatia is one of these figures known as a very good mathematician. Ultimately was killed by a group of Christians, obviously not the type of Christian that we would associate today with gentle Jesus, meek and mild, but was effectively murdered by a bishop who thought that she had sort of an undue amount of influence. And so in this case, we don't actually have any of her recorded, we don't have any of her philosophy recorded. All that we know was she was a gifted mathematician and that she was a follower in this Neoplatonic tradition. But in this case, I thought, given that she is a natural philosopher, why can't I see? Oh yeah. So in this case, there was no point to preserve my gun because I get one with the ship. But in this case here, I thought I would name her after the ancient Greek woman in Alexandria who was basically in some ways people consider her martyred for her beliefs. So it's just a nice, because people had already mentioned natural philosopher, and I decided on a woman. I thought it'd be a good name. Well, we're at the same number of hosts that we had yesterday, so it was really good. I just kind of wish that I was able to get these hosts under better circumstances, because I'm looking at my OBS right now and it's still dropping frames. So I'll just speed through some of these other things here. I don't know if I want to hire more crew, to be honest. Say perhaps not for that. We'll go to Labyrinth of Tigers. The Labyrinth of Tigers is open under patronage of the London Zoological Society to the cautious visitors for educational purposes. Here you may see devil apes of far Mandalay, the Thing in the Mirror, the Castigator's Children, the gargantuan cave snake, the inhibitor of wolves, the hybrid fiend. Nota bene, the management recommends that you arrange your exit well before closing time. I could provide a rare creature for the labyrinth, or I could purchase a live specimen from the labyrinth. I don't have enough echo, and I don't have any rare creatures, but good to know, I suppose. I don't think there's anything else I can do in London. I could try and hire on more crew for 30 echo. Let's go to the shops instead. And I think we'll just stock up on supplies. Just 3 more. All right. And if I remember correctly, there was... Oh my goodness, everybody's retweeting. I wasn't able to delete the second tweet, so everybody's retweeting the second one. Thank you, guys. If I remember correctly, it was 23. So this is a big risk because I ran into a situation where I wasn't actually able to sell this. But if I remember correctly, in Vanderblight, it was 23. So it's not a lot of money, but it's nice to have a little bit extra. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy 2 casks of mushroom wine so that I can take that to Vanderblight with the Tomb Colonist and make a small, but it's a profit that'll allow me to kind of do those little like 1 echo sort of events. All right. So my goal here is to get 3 port reports and to get the tomb colonist to Vanderblight. And I did pick the option where I have all my map retained. So this one's going to afford me a little bit more as far as exploration options. I think I will... The path I'll take will go from Fallen London to Hunter's Keep. I'll go up to Vanderblight, going through this area so I can take it out. And then... I think this is overly optimistic, but maybe from Vanderblight I will visit Station 3. So after that, I think we'll probably call it for the night. But oh, you're playing Mark of the Ninja? That's great. I actually haven't. So I haven't played a lot of it, but that might be another one to do over the summer streams. So it's been a while since I've seen Endors, but I remember he wanted me to get back to Antechamber, which I'd be very happy to do. So that's one that we'll be doing over the summer. I would like to go back to Civilization, but particularly I would like to do Beyond Earth. Let's see if I can not hit the rock here. Yay! So I'd like to do Beyond Earth. I know it doesn't have a very good reputation. Oop. Pressing the H key will blow your horn. This has no useful function and may provoke nearby Z-beasts or hostile creatures. And... oh, there we go. I thought the game froze. Oh, you were streaming Batman. Yeah. I also have Batman. Actually, this is one thing, is now that I've gotten over the stuttering problems too, I'm actually going to try a couple more first-person shooters. But as I've noticed, I definitely get worse at games when I definitely get worse. So like I wouldn't maybe want to do like Counter-Strike or something like that. All right, let's start by spying on the house. Three sisters. You peer through the half-open French window into a grand parlor, grand in size if reduced in style by dust and neglect. A dark-haired, pale-skinned young woman bends earnestly over a piano keyboard. Another fair-haired, but unmistakably her sister, sprawls on the sofa with a book. A third sits by the fireplace, staring sorrowfully into the embers. A log pops, and 3 women by the fire give a violent start. You cannot restrain a start of your own, and her eyes meet yours through the glass. She clasps her hand to her mouth in shock. There's nothing to do but step apologetically into the room. A visitor, the pianist, the youngest, cries. The next youngest chuckles. The eldest, who you frightened, sighs. Excuse us, she says. Visitors are rare. You are very welcome. I am Cynthia. The noisy one is Phoebe, and the cheerful one is Lucy. You're in good time for lunch. Will you join us? Let's start by reconnoitering the island. And we'll give them news. You ask the self-ride maid to carry a few hints of your news to the sisters. Oddly enough, she comes back with a message that their headaches are cured and you're invited to lunch. Would I be down for playing some League of Legends later this week? Perhaps Friday or Dota 2, you suppose? I'd definitely be more inclined to Dota 2 than League of Legends. I've never played a live game of League of Legends. I need to make sure that I don't have anything to do on Friday. I did make a soft plan with somebody, and I may have a meeting for my research project, but we can definitely give it a try. And obviously, if the MOBAs don't work out, we can always try another game. But it's late, so I'm not going to be able to get in touch with somebody afterwards. But how about I give you a message on Slack tomorrow afternoon? Yes, I Smell Like Poo uses the account because he wants the caster to say that word over and over again for chat to listen to. All right, let's do Phoebe. Phoebe is a soft voice, watchful and unpredictable. Here's a story. Phoebe has a story to tell of two lovers parted by water, of a raven that carried messages, of a fragment of a moon. She beats time on the table as she speaks, as if to a song only she can hear. The effect is hypnotic. Your attention drifts out through the skylight. Out through the skylight of the dining room to the false stars glittering in the roof of the cavern. You drift like a puffball spore. The undersea shimmers below. Islands lie like mineral specimens on black velvet. Ships bob like wood chips beneath the islands. Vast spined things pulse to the depths. There's a scent like the scent before a storm. The storm came, says Phoebe quietly. Everything changed. Somewhere in there you finished the last course. The scowling maid reluctantly served cheese and Bath Oliver biscuits. I've lost 24 hunger, which is nice. We can keep our supplies. We've lost 1 terror. An occurrence. The gods of the East, Storm's attention quality is now exclamation point. I've gained 1 supplies. That's all for now. I have 1 memory of distant shores, and I am acquainted with the Sisters of Hunter's Keep. Sleepbringer, thank you very much for the host. So now we've got a new record. 5 hosts tonight. Sleepbringer is yet another member of Team Panda. I am feeling lots of love from Team Panda tonight. Sleepbringer, if you are in chat, definitely feel free to give a link. Obviously, there we go. So feel free if you want. Also, of course, you can follow Sleepbringer through the regular chat. I will just caution all of you from Sleepbringer's chat. We are getting close to the end just because we've been having a lot of problems with OBS tonight. Stream has been stopping arbitrarily, been dropping a lot of frames, but we are going through our second captain on Sunless Sea. I'll do a little bit of an explanation of myself as we're navigating the waters of the Undersea. And we will make sure that we pass you off to some good people by the end of the stream. But at the very least, I can sell myself and encourage everybody who's currently in chat that if you're not following Sleepbringer, Kite260, Black Dahlia 1147, Superior Blaze, I Smell Like Poo, or let me just make sure, let me just put this up here. Ewok Fuzzy Nuts. Yeah, I think I got everybody in that. So East Bright Bay is I Smell Like Poo's channel. Sleepbringer, Kite260, Superior Blaze, or Ewok Fuzzy Nuts. And of course, Black Dahlia 1147, also a member of Team Panda. All of these people are great friends of the channel. All of these people are streamers who I personally hang out with and enjoy watching. And if you are not following them already, I definitely encourage you to do so, because I think we are getting a very good indication of the kinds of support that they give people, and they are definitely deserving of the same. These are all streamers who are capable of kind of getting their act together a bit better than me. So, in terms of what I do, I would like to consider myself a variety broadcaster, although I tend to be a little bit dedicated to a game once I start playing it. I think we're going to go out and around on Vanderblight. So we finished Shadowrun Dragonfall, which is a wonderful CRPG by Harebrained Schemes. We'll definitely be playing Shadowrun Hong Kong when the time comes. And I know this is going to be raising my terror, but I think terror is a commodity I can afford, whereas fuel is not. Could you bring me some sleep? Oh, but I don't talk like you do. That's true. So apparently the one thing I have going for me is the system talk. So I will give myself credit for that. But in any case, so despite the focus on a particular title when I go on it, we do have a variety. So we've been just starting up. A row of watchful sea bats hang from the cable, their heads swivel in unison as you cross the deck. So seeing as we finished Shadowrun Dragonfall yesterday night, we did a somewhat ill-fated attempt at the Sega Genesis version of Shadowrun. We're going to be doing some more Sunless Sea. On Friday nights, we have a dedicated Crusader Kings 2 night, which tends to bring in some people who maybe don't normally watch for some of the other things. I think Crusader Kings 2 is a very fun, very complicated game that doesn't quite get enough attention on Twitch, so it's kind of my opportunity to do something a little bit original. Some other games that we wind up playing are things like Darkest Dungeon, Antechamber, basically whatever seems fun or seems something that I can talk about. Been meaning to look into this game. How am I enjoying it? And because of Chalk, you've stopped cursing as much while you stream, but playing Witcher 3, quite a few friends' boobs have been quite a few friends' bombs have been F-boobs. Beautiful. Sleepbringer, I'll say I'm very bad at this game, but it's neat. So I think I'm not 100% on Total Biscuit's evaluation of this being a more story-driven FTL. I kind of see the connection that they make. Very exploration-oriented. I like the idea that you sort of inherit these ships as you go along. I will definitely say that this game is merciless as far as its resource constraints and its combat. You're going to die in this game, I'm pretty sure. But it's a really interesting atmosphere. I am still a little bit at odds on streaming it. I sometimes feel like I don't do as good of a stream when I play this particular title, but I, of course, leave that to the evaluations of the audience as to whether or not this game is sufficiently interesting. I am entertained playing it for sure. So is this a game that I would recommend for people to enjoy? Yeah, if you like FTL style games, if you like the process of exploration and kind of going through a really interesting and a very sort of it's a very unique kind of story. We had a really interesting encounter on this island where people could only wear masks, and the decisions that you get to make through it are really neat. So it's a unique kind of game, and I'm very happy that I play it. Whether or not I'd recommend it for streaming is a little bit up in the air for me, but there's a reason I'm continuing playing it. It's definitely CPO Williams and Endors gave us some of the first donations on this stream. CPO Williams wanted me to do Sunless Sea, and so I do feel a sort of an obligation to do it on stream just so I can give it its due. But I continue streaming it because I'm having fun. You found a talking SNES? So to give you an example, so here's a little bit of how this game unravels its story. So I just had a job to do a Tomb Colonist, and here's how it works. So the trouble with Tomb Colonists: you've brought the decaying emigrant north. Now what? An absent friend. It is everything I have imagined, he tells you breathlessly. But there's something missing. Please bring her to me. A vague commission. She went off to the Mangrove College. She needed to get out of London, but Vanderblaet is just as safe as the college, and I'll wager she's bored of mud by now. Look for the shady sort in the Mangrove College, somewhere in the south of the Undersea. I've lost one Tomb Colonist. Bring a Sadie short of Vanderblaet to the Mangrove. Now, I thought I was going to get paid for this, but apparently I don't. But the first time that you do this Tomb Colonist, they wind up attacking you. You need to pass a challenge, and you get a weapon from it, basically. You picked up Dragonfall the other night. Your viewers were pretty into it. Definitely, Dragonfall is one of the best written stories that I've played in a very long time. So I'm looking forward to watching you play Dragonfall, to be honest, Sleepbringer. It's a wonderful story, really complex, really interesting characters. Everything about that game, I think, is good from a story perspective. So he cheated at a game while playing Death, and Death trapped his soul in an SNES. That's really neat. It went on sale the next day for 75% off. Oh, that sucks. And you still need to finish Shadowrun Returns. Well, I will say, like, Shadowrun Returns is a relatively short adventure, and Dragonfall pretty much eclipses it in every form. But I'm definitely looking forward to Hong Kong. So we'll say, provide what you've promised. The Tomb Colonist consists of Vanderblaet and a few we've done this. Reassure the shady sort. Well, I can't do either of these, so we'll perhaps not. Tomb Colony of Vanderblaet. First thing we'll do is explore Vanderblaet so that we can get a port report. Here they favor candlelight over gaslight. The shadows are swagged like cobwebs. The Tomb Colonists stand still enough to be mistaken for sculpture until they laugh or cough, when building in 3 seems abandoned. In a white space beneath the hollow temple, you happen across a step platform of sorts. 4 statues guard it, marked with glyphs, all but lost to time and idle vandalism. They look a little like glyphs that decorate the Echo Bazaar in London, though. At the heart of the platform is a long-filled well shaft, too. You poke about briefly, but something in the place makes you uneasy. A frost moth, the size of a farmer's hand, flutters down to perch on the well's edge. Another, a third. You retreat. That's all for now. You've gained 1 terror and 20 fragments. All right. Gather gossip. Okay, there's the port report. Along the coasts of the Undersea, it's remarkably hard to die. The decrepit and nearly dead who leave London become tomb colonists and settle here in bandaged peace. But they don't give up their ties to home or their politics. You gather a haul of complex clues, enough to keep your contacts in London interested. So we've got 2 port reports. I need a third one to get in good with the Admiralty. Of course, the more I get, the more fuel and things like that I obtain as well. So, and visit the first curator. Z Captain's the first curator, gives audience. The first curator is responsible for the preservation of the tomb colonies. It has been here much longer than London, like all the oldest tomb colonists. But even tomb colonists dissolve in the end. Its time is close. No more light, the obsequious steward cautions you. The curator is terribly afraid of moths. He opens the door, and you step into the near darkness. A pair of luminous lamplighter bees buzz in a latticed ivory tube. There is no other source of light. A bandaged shape, no larger than a child, lies crumpled on a couch. It lifts its head with obvious effort. It takes several seconds for you to distinguish its voice from the soft buzz of the bees. Listen to a whispered request. Z Captain, Silkskin. Not much left of me. I will go into the Grand Sanatorium. Bring me colors. 7 colors. Pay. Well. 7 colors? Cosmogone, Irigo, Pelgin, Stuart has list. Find them here and there, across the wide Black Sea. Ask about the Grand Sanatorium. One hears the name whispered here and there in the arcades of Vanderblight. A long, low chuckling. Oh, Silkskin, you don't want to know. The chuckling becomes a cough. We don't die here below, not unless we go to Z, so we need something else, somewhere to end. Accept the commission. Thank you. This poor flesh thirsts for colors. No more words. It collapses, rustling back onto the couch. Even the effort of speaking seems to have diminished it a little. The audience is over. As the door opens, it shrinks from the light that reaches all across the... it shrinks from the finger of light that reaches across the floor. Outside, the obsequious steward nods. The book? Yes, the book. He hands you a slim illustrated volume. The curator is old as dust. Will be grateful if you do it one last favor. And these are just the lists of the things that I need. There's not much else for me to do here. So my goal at this point is just to kind of keep an eye on... I need to keep my resources in order, but basically I'm still trying to find things like the Iron and Misery Co., which it said was close to port, but I mean, I'm really running out of options here. There's not a whole lot of places that are close that I haven't explored yet. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take the long way around to Station 3. I'll go south through... Yeah, I'll basically go around Station 3. I'll sort of see where I'm at. Ideally, I can go south and cover up this black spot on the map. And either we go to Quaker's Heaven, and I think this is the... Actually, this is the light ship, so I wouldn't really need that. So probably south, if I've got enough resources, also find out what's on this island, then Quaker's Heaven and back to Fallen London. And of course, Ewok, we're probably coming up soon on a... Oh, we can kill some bats. Oh, they found me. Can't believe I missed that. And what do we get for our efforts? Little leathery corpses lie scattered across your deck. The rest of the swarm vanishes into the neath dark. We can gather up the corpses, they are succulent with stolen blood, into the pot, or dispose of the corpses, their mere touch leaves you shuddering, will slightly reduce terror. Well, we might as well do that, because we've already eaten. So lost 1 terror, total wary. Basically, unless I'm hungry, they're really not worth killing. So I'm going to kill the lights for a bit, and we will head towards the dark areas on the map. But yeah, so we've obviously got a Steam sale coming up soon. I suspect probably the old Shadowrun titles will be on a pretty substantial discount. I did just buy a stack of basically clearance books, so I probably can't go too crazy on the Steam sale, but well, I'm not even on a Steam sale point of view, but I also should probably add Diablo 3 to my Razer Cortex wish list, because I know Blizzard stuff occasionally goes on sale, not very often, but seeing everybody enjoy that game has made me covetous. Alright, so I'll go... As much as I'd like to go like directly south, I'm going to go the long way around to Station 3 just so I can get a little bit more vision, and then when I go to Station 3, basically left and down. One thing I'll say about the Steam sales is I think they're getting... I mean, obviously they've been hiring economists. By the way, if anybody's interested, the Valve economist who became the Greek finance minister is not doing very well. Yanis Varoufakis is definitely very interesting to listen to, but it's apparently not translated into very effective policy. But I think Valve's sort of very data-driven approach to things, and their... Oh. We've got a port we can go into, which is good news. Abbey Rock. Last one you know of was a Black Friday sale for a lot of their games. That sounds about right. Like, I'm not necessarily in a rush to buy any of them, right? So just being able to know that they're there gives me enough. Oh, not a problem. Thanks, Sleepbringer. I appreciate you saying that, because like I said, I definitely feel a little bit iffy on streaming Sunless Sea. Obviously, if you guys ever have recommendations in terms of games you like, or also games that you don't like, let me know, because I definitely am not wanting for quantity of games. But as always, you know, feel open to send me mail. I always read it. So I'm not always good at replying on time, but I'm always happy to respond. You know what? I completely forgot to sell the mushrooms in Vanderblight. That was so stupid of me. Anyways, have a great night, Sleepbringer. Thank you again for that host. Looking forward to see you play Shadowrun. And you too, Kite. Thank you very much for the host. Always a pleasure having you in chat. We'll give you something a little bit more exciting next time we stream. But yeah, so I was going to say that it seems to me like the Steam sales are getting a little bit more conscious in terms of what they're giving away at too steep of a discount. So the deal, I mean, there's still some deals, but I noticed the deals are a little bit fewer. Like the steals aren't as frequent. All right, Abbey Rock, black spit of an island, far from anywhere anyone would want to go. So I could trade supplies, which apparently would be very costly. Well, it's 20 echoes, which is what I'm paying already. Compile a port report. Nothing is happening. The sisters watch us. We feel their eyes. The sea crashes on the rocks, withdraws. The fortress stands stolid as the last year of the century. The greatest peril you risk here is a certain purpleness of prose. We will search the surroundings. A cache. You follow the tracks into the sea cave. Someone has stored food, supplies, ammunition. It can't be the nuns. These crates have a Khanate look. The Admiralty will want to know about this. I've gained strategic information, torpedo components, 5 supplies, and 5 fuel. That is definitely good news. I will knock at the iron-studded gates. Although you have no recent news, nothing. Far away a great bell tolls. Drizzle begins to fall. You sneeze. AAA titles don't get nearly as discounted as they used to. Yeah, and I mean, there's... Like, I think one great thing about the Steam sales is now obviously that it's no longer like movies, right? Where opening night means everything to the success. But on the other hand, you now have a class of gamer that knows that it's going to go on a discount. So perfect example, Skyrim has never really gone to the kinds of discounts that other games have. And it's because people sort of know when they have a hot property. And in the end, like, I'm not necessarily too discouraged by that. Like, in the end, what they're doing is they're segmenting the market, right? So there are people who have to have a great new release when it first comes out. So those are people who are willing to spend like $70 or $80 on a game. And then there's somebody like me where I have a fairly substantial library. And frankly, like, it would be irresponsible of me to be in school and say, yeah, but I'm going to spend $80 on something that's going to distract me from my studies. Like, that is not a good use of my money. That is not a good use of my time. So in this case, I wait, and then, I exchange my time for, and the fact that I'm not playing a very recent game. But when something comes out that is sufficiently interest and at a decent price, I say, you know what, it's worth it to me to spend $20 on this. In the end, it's software. They've already put all their costs into it. And so, I'm never going to buy that game at 80, but I might buy it at 20. So in that case, they wind up capturing, this part of the market. The thing is that they can't distinguish between me and somebody who would pay $80. So if they start at 20, then they're leaving money on the table. So what they do is the only thing, and they can't, like, I mean, companies have tried to put tracking data on people and figure that out. And every time they get caught doing it, people go nuts. So they're not going to be able to do that either. So what they just do is they use time as the way of segmenting the market. All right, watch The Convent. Like huge and deadly herons, the sisters stalk along the very tops of the walls. You watch through a spyglass as they leap and whirl, slashing at each other with a variety of frightening weapons. God, one of them just turned a somersault. I've gained 5 fragments, and that's all for now. So we've got the reports that we want. What I'll do is I'll go out and around Abbey Rock so I can get to Station 3. It's a little tempting to go to Fieldhaven now as well. But, well, no, actually I can manage that. So if I go out, around, down, and then back up to Station 3, then I can go back to Mutton Island. Yeah, that sounds about right, Ewok Fuzzy Nuts. And I take it you're talking about the Skyrim DLC? Yeah, I mean, I haven't finished the original Skyrim. I didn't like the original Skyrim when I first... Definitely a stronger ship, so I don't want to tangle with it if I don't have to. I didn't like Skyrim when I originally played it, so I like it now, but I'm not going to... I mean, I haven't finished the content that's in the game already, so it'd be silly for me to... How do I get out of this? So it'd be silly of me to spend money on the DLC to... Oh, Jesus. When I've got content in the regular game to go through, especially at these prices. Jesus, I'm taking way too much damage on this encounter. Alright, if it charges me, I'm gonna fire, but I don't think I have to. There we go. So I'm gonna eat this jelly... Or wait, if I eat it, it doesn't do anything, so... We'll watch the oil colors fade, and we will repair the ship. Oh, wow. We lose a lot of supplies doing that. Stop! Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time. I've hardly played any of the main story, so I can't even comment on it, to be completely honest. One of the things that personally doesn't work for me a lot on the open world style games is that if you consider, a really classic style shooter. So like Shadow Warrior or Wolfenstein or something like that. You know, you're facing these constraints for level design. Like you have to make decisions in terms of, you know, where you're going to put resources, where you want the story to go, and things like that. And because people have put a lot behind this open world, they're like, one of the problems for me when I first started playing Skyrim was the fact that I kind of felt aimless. Like I was doing the missions because I wanted to have something to do, but I didn't really jump into it that much. So, oh, good Lord, you got all the books? Of course, the Bearded Watchman tells you there are no actual shepherds on the Shepherd Isles. Sheep are mostly illegal here. No, indeed, it's just the name of the gentleman that found the isles. Greybeard sitting in the village square nods solemnly. No sheep, one says, but plenty of tales. Ask us anything. So 5 Echo to picnic at the Standing Stones. I don't have a lot of money, but I will picnic. Nice to lose the terror. Compile a port report. Oh yes, my yes. The things have been going on. In the bleak light of false stars, surface roiling like a porridge pot, up with a roar of steam and flash of fire, 3 widows swimming, tentacles, and we all saw His Highness. There's rather a lot of this material. Oh, and I could have got the Sigil-ridden Navigator if I had enough money, which would have been nice, but I'm not going to sell fuel for that. So we leave. So it's going to go back up to Station 3. What I'll do is out and around like this. So I will go directly left, then up, back to Station... Actually, I guess I can go to Quaker's Haven, then Station 3, and then back to London. Well, okay, I may have missed the point of open world, but I mean, like, the big thing is that to me, it's not my job to give them, like, to tell their story, right? Like, it's all well and good to say that you have the freedom to enjoy this game, but there's a little bit of story to get me motivated in terms of doing something. But, like, I remember wanting to move on to the plot and not being very clear in terms of the best way to do that. And so to me, that was a negative part of the experience. Now, like I said, I like Skyrim a little bit more now that I'm playing it, but I contrast that to something like Dark Souls, which actually gives you options in terms of how you complete the story, right? Like, you don't have to... I mean, there's some exceptions to this, but generally you do not need to do certain bosses in certain orders. Like, I didn't really feel lost in Dark Souls the same way that I wound up feeling lost in Skyrim. Two houses, both alike in dignity. A lonely desert beach. There is no habitation in sight, no market, very little in the way of maintained dock. A stretch of the sand thickens into a damp black earth from which sprout stunted palms? No, not quite. Tall fungal growths with frond-like caps, as if someone sculpted the idea of a tree from a mushroom. These growths appear sparse on the beach, but clumped together the farther inland one goes, clutching tightly to some sort of forest around the base of the island's central hill. You can see off in the distance dots of fire flecking the horizon. You hear clamor, shouts, and shot. If you look at the key, you can make out 2 unusual shapes of 2 tiny figures. See what awaits you. War? You step onto the key and hear clamor, shouts, and shot. You see off in the... Okay, we got that. 2 tiny figures stand a little further down the key, unmoving, rather as if you're awaiting your approach. Well, I mean, you can... Like, I'm not going to say that Dark Souls is... So if you want to have 2 binary states saying that this is an open world game and this is a linear game, so, like, you know, Dark Souls is similar to Mario Brothers in the sense that if you know in the second level, you need to run across the roof and you can teleport to whatever world you want. That's a level of access that Dark Souls gives you. Like, there are a couple of encounters that you need to do on your own, but Dark Souls also has the kind of plot that doesn't give you everything up on a tray, right? Dark Souls is a little bit like movies by a small independent filmmaker named Shane Carruth, who says that he really doesn't like stories that just give him everything at face value and don't allow you to do some interpretation on your own. Likewise, Dark Souls, you kind of need to do some work on your own account to uncover the story, which is, a somewhat desirable feature on it, although some people also find it irritating. So it's, obviously these things don't appeal to everybody. But similarly, you don't have, what's another example that I can give? I mean, like, you're not locked into saying this is level. Okay, like Gunpoint would be an example of this, right? Like Gunpoint, the only real option you have of what level you go to is whether or not you decide to do one particular group of companies' missions. So, in that sense, I'm not going to say that, like, so if I have to choose between what's an open world game and what's a linear game, I suppose, Dark Souls falls under linear in the sense that you can't just run around and do, and not engage with the story, right? But I also don't think it's a virtue of games that the story is completely irrelevant. Like, to me, I don't quite get what the point of Skyrim is. Like, in terms of what is the experience that I'm having in Skyrim? Why do I care about this character that I've made? I understand that there's a war going on, but it seems like even though there's tremendous urgency in terms of whether or not the Stormcloak Rebellion turns out, the events are completely uncontingent on how many dragons I want to go out and slay, how many, books I want to go find for somebody in the College of Winterhold. So in that sense, like, I don't really see any very large and grand themes being explored in Skyrim. Now, we can take this in contrast to a game like Shadowrun Dragonfall, which very clearly has a linear progression, right? You get to pick what missions you go on. But I mean, the appeal to me in Dragonfall, in terms of the experience that I get out of these games, Dragonfall had this very interesting story, which begins with a group of runners finding themselves in a situation larger than what they, larger than they assume, of circumstances that are beyond their control, and a member of the party dies. And everything that informs that story is, again, people finding themselves in a story that is much bigger than themselves. They don't have the information they need to make the right decisions. But in the end, they're ones that have consequences for the world as a whole in the end. Now, not every game has to explore grander themes. Not every game has to have a knockdown story. But it seems to me that Skyrim is attempting to tell a particular story, and I think in my experience of it, the story is not well served by the fact that there's a lot of distractions going on. Now, one of the reasons I really enjoy Grand Theft Auto V is, despite the fact that, to my mind, it seems to be an open world game, and the fact that, you choose your level of engagement, it's still able to make these characters that are really interesting and are really engaging. So, again, these are my opinions, and clearly people have different priorities in going into games. But, it's just, to me, I think my experience of Skyrim was lessened because the developers weren't put a little bit too much service to this idea of open world, and as a result, the story that they were trying to tell was diluted by the fact that I was given too many options. Yeah, I mean, the point I'm trying to make here, Ewa, like, again, I'm not necessarily going to say a game is good or bad based on this criteria. I'm merely talking about my own experience and why I found it very difficult to get into Skyrim originally. the fact that the game can be linear doesn't mean that when I'm sitting down, everybody's told me that Skyrim is the most amazing game that they've played, I'm going to jump in and really enjoy it, that all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of stuff begging for my attention, and there isn't a very clear path to me in terms of where this story is going to be going. Now, again, let's keep in mind that I am enjoying Skyrim. Like, if you take a look at the hours played that I've put into Skyrim, like this is not the behavior of somebody who dislikes the game. But with that in mind, like, one of the things that I do on this channel is to talk about the things that I think work and don't work in particular games. And in this sense, I'm not entirely sure that Skyrim is well served by the way that they implemented open world. Whereas, for whatever reason, again, I haven't played GTA 5, so I might actually find that I'm giving them a little too much credit, or maybe not giving Skyrim enough credit. But when I've watched people play GTA 5, it seems that they are able to get the story moving, that you're able to still make a connection with its individual characters, while still giving you the option to pursue things on your own terms. Yeah, well, I mean, we can definitely say that the interactivity of Skyrim trumps Dark Souls, but I mean, I'll be honest with you, like, I got really tired of reading the books after a certain period of time. But I mean, again, like, that is very much me. Like, the big thing is that the Elder Scrolls have a lot of very dedicated fans, and so it's a style of game that I'm coming into in the 5th installment from people who've gotten used to a very specific style of playing the game. So in the end, like, I kind of get that I'm a newcomer to this sort of thing, and that if I don't particularly like it, it's probably just because it's not a style of game that's for me, in the sense of, you know, compared to my friends who are, you know, the Elder Scrolls games are easily their favorite. But again, it's not to say that I don't like Skyrim. I enjoy it. It's just I found it hard to get into originally for the reasons that I articulated before. Yeah, I mean, I haven't played GTA 5, right? I may find that it's not... I don't actually like it, but I've enjoyed watching it for sure. This is the same war thing that we've done before. Now I need to figure out how I'm going to handle this, because I don't have the same iron that I did last time. But basically, this is a war between two rats, and two groups of rodents, basically. And I need to figure out... how I'm actually going to work with this one, because they're all high-risk challenges for me. So give up 2 supplies when I'm hungry. Both have a 20%... You know what? Let's just offer assistance with strategy, because it's a low chance of probability, but going in directly is probably not going to result in me dying. No, I haven't played Fallout. I might enjoy it, but I know, like, when I mentioned when I was originally playing Skyrim to my friend, they said, yeah, it's a big Bethesda style game. Like, this is the kind of game that they do. So it's a really popular style of game, but he says if you don't like Skyrim, you're probably not going to like Fallout. Now, again, because I'm enjoying Skyrim, I'm going to give Fallout a try if I get the opportunity. I don't own it though, so like I'm not. There's so much stuff that I want to play, and especially because a lot more of my gaming time is streaming time now, having something that's Mac compatible is actually a priority for me. So it's going to be a while before I play Fallout, but I am looking forward to give it a try. All right, waited and found wanting. This is something we haven't read yet. So you pretend to take a rat hostage and approach the Cavies as a gift, demanding an audience with a Sen Shell. A battalion encircles you almost immediately. Their armor and helmets clank and purr and clatter amongst themselves. Well, well, says the Sen Shell, regarding you with what you suppose is a smile. A reversal of fortune? How unlikely. I suppose you'll have no trouble slitting the savage's throat on our behalf. Your fraction of a moment's hesitation is all the confirmation the Senshell needs. See to the ship, she snaps, and half the party scurries to intercept the rat skulking aboard it, screaming war cries that curdle your blood. As for you, says the Senshell sweetly, thank you very kindly for your gift. I assure you it is most graciously received. More swiftly than you would have thought possible, the Senshell leaps onto the rat you hold bound and sinks her incisors into his chest. You escape with your life, but find yourself unable to forget how the rat screamed and writhed while the Senshell raised her face to you again, his liver gleaming obscenely in her mouth. You've gained 5 terror, and I failed the challenge, so... Oh, wow. We get to do this again? Offer to attack ourselves? Oh, we succeeded. Wow. So if I try to steal it, it's 60%, but we get banished from this forever, so... The albino tinkerer didn't really give me that much, so I'm not going to invite him on board with me. Let's try intercede. So this is probably going to get me kicked out again, but let's try to intercede on behalf of the cavies. It's a very low chance, but... You appeal to the chief engineer's moral fortitude and sense of fair play. Perhaps the cavies suffered the loss of the light in the center of the island. Perhaps they were only trying to get it back, not steal it from the rats. The chief engineer looks troubled and shakes his head. You fought one battle, Captain, he says gravely. We fought hundreds against them. They're monsters, pure and simple. The sooner we get rid of them, the better. Rid of them? You see, by the light of Scintillac, a dozen rats using the Steam Pinnacle's supplies to build something that looks remarkably like a sausage machine. We've gained 5 terror as a result of that. And we've added to our memoirs. Okay, we'll invite him on board with me just because it's free. And we don't seem to have anything else to do. So let's try to steal the rat star. And we failed. So we've gained 5 terror. Lost 1 heart. Jazzpoo, thank you very much for the whole... I kept telling everybody we were going to be wrapping up soon, but I seem to be taking longer on all of these... on all these places. So again, I won't bother going back to Pigmote Isle just because I don't have anything... I don't have anything that I can accomplish as I learned last time. So... we turn out and around. It seems to me it's probably just as well to go to Quaker's Heaven after this center area here, and we'll decide whether or not we go to Station 3 or not. How are you doing tonight, Jazzpoo? Again, thank you very much for the host. We've broken our record again. Fallout is sorry, I should be looking at this too. Fallout is the same as Skyrim unless you play Fallout 1 and 2. Fallout 1 and 2 are isometric turn-based RPGs. I knew that. I haven't played them, but I knew the style was different. So, we've now got a new record of 6 separate hosts tonight. Oh god, this is what killed us the last time. Well, I guess we're committed now. This thing's gonna destroy us for sure. I'm mostly interested in seeing whether or not we can actually finish this thing off or not. No, I think we just lost another sea captain. So 1 more hit and we're done for. Yeah, we're dead. Your ship founders, there are screams, a flood of dark water, an unforgettable sound of a ship's spine breaking. Slip beneath the waves, perhaps you'll be remembered in song. I think we'll just go back to correspondence. So that was a pretty ignoble end for the stream and the captain. That's good. I was going to say, that's good to know. Basically, we need to run from sharks from now on. So we'll quit to the title screen. So Jazzpoo, I need to apologize for everybody who came in on Jazzpoo's channel. And, of course, people who came with Sleepringer. I know it was a bit of a shorter time. I'm glad that we managed to get through the stream with the... like, without the frame dropping and the kind of the arbitrary cancellations of the stream. But I am noticing, like, I am still up in the almost 20,000 drop frames over the course of an hour, so it's about 15%, which again isn't as bad as what we were experiencing before. But I think this is a good time to end for Sunless Sea. So, yeah, that was a pretty humiliating encounter with this shark, to be completely honest with you. But with that in mind, it was lots of fun streaming for you guys tonight. I don't have a lot of options in terms of who I'm going to host with, but I am going to try somebody... I didn't even know you streamed, Jazzpoo. I apologize for that, but I'm going to have to hang out for some time. I should be following you. If I'm not, I'll be sure to hit the follow button. I noticed I have a suspicion. I have a suspicion that when I hit follow during the stream, it doesn't come through, so I'm going to wait till I log off to double check that the follow button's hitting, because I noticed Kite wasn't followed even though I'd hit his number a couple times. But let's sum up. So we did some more Sunless Sea tonight. I think I'm starting to get my bearings on this game. I'm basically just choosing Correspondent all the time so I can get a better sense of the map. Have no idea where this port is supposed to be that we're looking for. Second playthrough didn't go that well. Hypatia had an untimely end. It was lots of fun talking with you guys. Really interesting to do Sunless Sea. I'm looking for feedback whether or not this is enjoyable for people to watch, because I do think there's a little bit of dead space that occurs during the game. But we also got a chance to chat about the game. Looks like Sleepringer was intrigued enough to pick it up on his own. And then, of course, we talked a little bit about future CRPGs. And if nothing else, we can always go to Shadowrun Hong Kong when that starts playing in the future. So... well, I'm looking forward to when you start, Jazzpoo. So, again, to give you an idea of how this channel basically got started, I did the Extra Life charity event, and that led me to decide, well, you know what, I'll at least go to a Twitch meetup to meet these other people who are involved with Twitch, and that's where I met Seriously Clara, and the rest you see before you. I do not have a very good internet connection. That's why the video quality is so low. Obviously, that internet connection is also resulting in problems like what we were having today with dropped frames, possibly with the stream stopping partway through. But it is thanks to you people that I keep doing this. You guys have been very supportive despite these defects in the channel. So I say it often. I hope I say it often because I mean it. But I also don't want it to sound insincere because I keep saying it. You guys are definitely... I am streaming more and I'm having more fun streaming it because you guys are very active in the chat. You're very supportive with your hosts, with your follows, with your conversations. So there are always things that I appreciate. And as always, we're going to pass things on to somebody who can hopefully continue on with the entertainment. It's going to be a streamer called Mantastic, who I believe I've hosted a couple of times. I just want to make sure I got her name down properly. But this is somebody who I actually met at the last Twitch meetup, and I believe will be at the next one as well. So I don't know whether or not she's planning on going on camera or not. But she plays World of Warcraft and Hearthstone. So we'll give her a chance. I don't have any kind of a slogan or that I say for hosts or something like that. If you want to say you've come from System Shock's channel, certainly appreciated, but there's no requirement to do so. But I encourage you guys to hang out for a little bit. She's somebody I haven't talked to very much at the Twitch meetup, but it is interactive in terms of chat, and more importantly, actually does a fairly good job of answering questions on Hearthstone when people ask. So if it's a game that you've wanted to get into, she's actually not bad to... she's not bad to get that kind of advice from, because she's I think she's like rank 3 or something like that. So anyways, we'll pass you guys on to her. Thank you again for coming by tonight. We'll definitely be back Friday for some Crusader Kings 2, and if we have the opportunity to do some more streaming, I will try and announce that on Twitter ahead of time and let you know before it happens. But for sure, we'll be back Friday, if not sooner. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks.